We have Eric Lemkule joining us live from Georgia and Robin Sachdeva, foreign affairs expert, also joining us live. Eric, firstly, it must be late in the evening, but it's never too late to discuss tariffs. And at the moment, tariffs is something that is being discussed and debated across the world, with Donald Trump unveiling the tariffs that he has imposed on every nation who have imposed tariffs back on the U.S. How do you look at this, Eric, as far as the global economy is concerned? Do you think this could destabilize the global economy?
So that's going to be kind of the million-dollar question right now. As someone in the U.S., I look at the list and I say, wow, there's a lot of countries that we have not been applying tariffs that have been applying tariffs to us. So when you look at those countries on that list, that we're not the only country that they apply tariffs to. They apply tariffs to every other country as well. So if the global economy has sustained under the reciprocal tariffs from everybody else, then surely you would think that it can sustain through the United States tariffs on President Trump's list of reciprocal tariffs. However, he did cut a 50% deal, is what it looks like, on what he initially said was going to be reciprocal tariffs. And now we're looking at 50% of reciprocal. So the 26% that India received is exactly half of what India charges the United States in tariffs. We also have to understand that President Trump is a businessman. He's been a businessman for 50 or 60 years. He hasn't been a politician for very long. So on the business side of things, I have put my trust that he is going to understand how to navigate through this global economy. As we've seen today with the announcement of the trade numbers, the tariff numbers, that the Dow Jones did not negatively react to it. We actually gained 235 points at the end of the close today. So that was a little unexpected. So I look for there to be a shock value, but I do think that everything will level out as time goes by.
Well, Eric, stay on with me. I have Robin Sachdeva also. Mr. Sachdeva, everybody says that the camaraderie between Donald Trump and PM Modi is really, really something that the world envies. And as far as these tariff numbers are concerned, 26% isn't a small number. How does it fare, as compared to tariffs imposed during Biden's regime? And also, is there any room for negotiation to reverse these tariffs?
Your last point, I don't see any chance of reversal of these tariffs. I do see some chance of some reduction in these tariffs. Some, not much also maybe, I don't see that. Secondly, President Trump and Prime Minister's friendship, absolutely. This is the era of tough love. And it's the era of how you define your national interest. Trump, ever since the 1980s, 40, 50 years ago, as a businessman, used to always decry, condemn Japan, that they're looting us. The Arab oil sheikhs, they're looting us and living rich lives, etc. So this has been his absolute, if one were to say, pet peeve all his life. So yesterday was actually, I would say, his crowning glory of achieving something that he had always been wanting or thinking in this world. That's one. Now, secondly, as to the impact, as to India tariffs, 26%, I mean, this is a number out of, so far, I think, out of the thin air. Nobody knows what the formula is. They're saying 52% is what India charges. On what basis? We don't know, weighted average. But then you see, he's also including non-tariff barriers in that. Market access, your currency, manipulation, etc., whatever. So with whatever formula they had, they came up with 52 and then 50%. And remember, Trump always says he has a big heart. Yesterday he was talking, I'm a very kind man and kind discounts. So he has that, inherent worldview that he's a very kind man, or he can be a very kind man. So 52 was their number that came up. They said for worldwide, and it's nothing to do with India. So we are facing 26%. It will have an impact. We are having India-specific, let's say, a bilateral trade agreement. But, you see, the reason they are imposing these tariffs is not only because of trade, unfair, and, you charging me more and I charging you less. No, that is one big component. The bigger component for Trump is that these tariffs in America will raise revenue income for the US federal government. They anticipate in the next 10 odd years, his advisors, that around $6 trillion will come into the US Treasury as import duties. Now, that's what he wants, and that money he will be using to give tax breaks to corporate America or to working Americans. That is political philosophy, low taxes. He will accomplish that objective via the tariffs. So no wonder he says that tariffs is a beautiful word. And the way he is using it smartly. Either it'll end up, America will become the golden bird like Sone ki Chidi of India, or America will end up in a train wreck.
Right, Mr. Rabinder Sachdeva and Eric, please stay on with me as we give an insight about what these tariffs are and what Donald Trump has announced so far. Just to give a sense to our viewers, here's a quick report summarizing what Donald Trump has unveiled on what he calls as Liberation Day.
In a bid to counter the long-looming discrepancies, US President Donald Trump announced sweeping tariffs